I don't know if they call her Dr. Feelgood or not. I know they don't over at Bloomberg.com. I don't feel good about Julie Gunlock because she likes freedom and they like banning stuff. Julie Gunlock of the Independent Women's Forum is with us on the program. How you doing, Julie?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I am fantastic. I appreciate you joining us on the show this afternoon.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so you've got several pieces to discuss, including a piece at Acculturated, right?
I have two pieces at Acculturated.
Both at Acculturated.
Yes.
All right, where do you want to start?
Oh, I don't know. Let's talk about the overpraised child, right? The one that I wrote last week. How's that sound?
Okay, we can do this. The overpraised child yearbook edition.
Right.
It is the time of year where we all get our yearbooks, and you have this horrifying picture. When did it become normal to pay to have an advertisement placed in the back of your kid's elementary school yearbook? And as you say, you wonder when did elementary school yearbooks become a thing?
Yeah. I actually got one response on Twitter. Someone said, "Hey, actually, it was common in my school district to have elementary school yearbooks." The woman who tweeted me looked quite a bit younger than me. So all I remember from elementary school was getting, and I wrote this in the piece, was getting that single sheet of thumbprint size or thumbnail size photos of your classmates, and then your own photos. So I don't remember a yearbook coming home with us until, gosh, we might have had one in junior high. But basically, my children both finished. I mean, I have a kindergartner, for crying out loud, and he comes home, from his last day of school, and he's carrying a 40-page yearbook, which was really nicely laid out and sort of professionally done. And I was stunned that he came home with this. And so I'm leafing through it, and it's not enough that my kindergartner, who basically spent all day, coloring butterflies and yelling, and I'm sure his teachers did a great job, but he comes home with his yearbook, and then I look through the back of the yearbook, and there are paid sort of ads. You can pay to have sort of a little square, and you can say, you can praise your child. Basically, I'm so proud of you for finishing kindergarten, and I'm so proud of you for doing such a good job on first grade. And I'm like, how hard is kindergarten? And, so I just found these a little much. And I think another symptom of sort of helicopter parenting and our culture, which is overpraising children for non-accomplishments. I mean, let's discuss why my child finished kindergarten. Do you think he would have finished kindergarten on his own? No. It's because I got him up, usually yelling at him to get up like 5 times. Get up, get up, get up, go have breakfast. Then I yelled at him to get dressed.
Yeah.
Then I yelled at him to put his night clothes back on his bed, make his bed, go down, put your shoes on, put your shoes on, put your shoes on, and then I got him in the car, and I drove him to school. Okay, so I'm just like, why does this child deserve a lot of praise for finishing kindergarten? Which again, I don't really think is that tough. I mean,
right. So if you're gonna, so here's the thing: if you're going to put out an ad in your child's elementary school yearbook, maybe you should be a little self-congratulatory, right? Maybe it should be like, "Hey, look at what I did."
Why did I think of that? Okay, that's it. Next year.
I mean, you can have like a little small picture of your kid and then just talk about your achievements this year.
Or just say, I would like you to thank me
That's right.
for getting your butt out of bed, dragging your butt out of bed, serving you breakfast every morning.
Making sure your shoes are on the right feet.
Yeah, so I mean, I just, I sort of, it made me wonder, is this the reason that, millennials, some older people have trouble working with millennials? I mean, is this, were they praised to this degree? I mean, can you imagine if you're praised for finishing kindergarten, how it must feel not to get like a good pat on the back every day after work for doing what you were hired to do, what you're being paid to do? So again, this is again sort of a personal observation, and I think this is quite common today, where both schools do issue these sort of elementary school yearbooks, and again, parents offering praise to their children for things that they don't deserve.
Now, I will confess to having an elementary school yearbook. Well, here's the thing. I had an elementary school yearbook.
Oh, okay.
My parents never took out the ad
Oh, good. We're fine
in
still.
elementary school. No, I mean that just would have been ridiculous. I remember seeing I think this for seniors, graduating high school seniors. Some parents would do this. Certainly not every parent would do that. But no, I never saw it at the elementary school level. Now, you also, speaking of schools, dress codes, tool of the patriarchy.
Right. Yeah, it's another piece in Acculturated that I wrote, and I had seen this piece in the Washington Post, where a woman and her daughter had co-authored an op-ed in the Washington Post, talking about how the dress code at her school is hindering her self-expression. And this woman was very concerned that her daughter was unable to find clothes, first of all, which I found sort of astounding that her daughter apparently was having trouble finding clothes that fit the school dress code. And also, the mother was sort of lamenting that her daughter has this artistic spirit and that she can't sort of wear or not wear, apparently, what she wants. And I just found this such a sort of, just such an example of first world problems, and this mother suggesting that this is somehow treading on her daughter's First Amendment rights of expression is just absolutely absurd. So I wrote a response to it and again, tried to say, look, there's a reason for these dress codes. There's raging hormones, and there's kids that are easily distracted, and there's nothing wrong. I mean, it's fine if you think if you want your daughter to be able to express herself, and that's fine, and that's why there's a weekend, and that's why school is let out at night. But it's also fine for schools, institutions to set these rules, and we should expect parents to have sympathy with schools that are trying to set these standards, not rail against them, and for goodness sake, write a Washington Post op-ed, sort of defending your daughter against this patriarchy. It's just insane.
It is insane, and I got to say, So these writers say, and you quote here, the justification for these dress codes is so it doesn't distract people from learning. Obviously, they mean boys. So according to school systems nationwide, girls should be taken out of class or sent home and miss learning so that the boys can focus. Now, I got to say, Julie, I mean, we've had several stories on this program of boys who have been told that their NRA shirts were distracting, were a violation of their dress code, and were sent home. So I first of all, I disagree with the premise.
Exactly.
Second of all, the writer, my daughter is getting the message loud and clear that her education is secondary to that of boys and that her body exists solely as a sexual object. Who's given that message? Because I'm not sure that it's the school district. Sounds like maybe mom's giving her that message.
Yeah, it's really sad to see. I said in the piece that, if this woman really wants to help her daughter, she'll tell her that they're, and I explained, she's sort of in denial. There is a reason that young girls are trying to dress provocatively and trying to go against the dress code. It's because they want to look older and they want to look sexy. And you know what? That's a perfectly natural thing.
Yeah, this also is not new.
Yeah, I mean, this is not new, and this is completely natural. And so if this woman really wanted to help her daughter, instead of, co-authoring an op-ed with her in the Washington Post, I'm sure she was just, applauded by all of her friends. What would be better is if she taught her daughter there is an appropriate time and place to dress provocatively and to dress a little bit sexy. When you're 20, okay, or when you're older, or when you're not in school. I mean, her whole life, this young girl is going to have to sort of, amend her actions in order to, there are rules. The rules do exist. We are not just, we're not this wild society. There are rules, and so she's really doing a disservice to her daughter. But I also, as the mother of 3 boys, I find it kind of annoying that I'm somehow supposed to respect this girl's need for self-expression, and yet this mom refuses to accept that my boys will have raging hormones, which is also natural, and will be distracted by these girls. So again,
now listen, I hate to disagree with you. You know that, right?
I can't believe you're going to. But
I'm just going to say, as a former teenage boy, and as the father of 3 boys, 2 of whom have gone through puberty, it doesn't matter.
Oh, I
It really doesn't matter. If there is a female present, okay, it seriously, gunny sacks.
She could be in a burqa. It
right?
doesn't
Like
matter.
it don't even have to be the same room. Just knowing that they're in the same building as females is going to be enough to set those hormones flowing.
Sure. But also to your point, and I hate to disagree with you, so I'm going to go back to agreeing with you. I'm going to be the nice one on the call here. Boys are also sent home for wearing their trousers too far on their, showing their butts in their underwear and their boxers. I mean, we act like there's no rules for boys, and there are, and they are violated, and those boys are sent home. I mean, for goodness sake, lawmakers have actually tried to institute laws that say pull your pants up. I think that's going a little too far. But, I mean, look, what really annoys me more than anything is that we cannot rely on people's, one, good taste, two, sense of, responsibility to their children, and three, just have some class here. Explain to your daughter when it's appropriate to wear certain things and when it's not. That's going to serve her a lot more than you defending her right to wear too little clothes in school. I think it's just it really bothered me to see the piece in the Post. It really bothered me to see this mother not only giving her daughter the wrong lesson, but then having the nerve to go in the Washington Post and explain to other young girls who might be reading this, or parents, that they have no obligation to the school or to their children.
Snowflakes in June, Julie.
That's right.
Just snowflakes,
That's what they are. I bet that mother, I guarantee you that mother puts an ad in the back of her child's yearbook. Oh, I love I love how you express yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if you kind of wonder if the pictures would be even appropriate for the yearbook, but
good question.
Right? Well, listen, I do appreciate you coming on the program. I'm glad that the summer is actually still allowing you some time to write.
Yes, I know. I'm doing pretty good. I have a young girl in the neighborhood who comes over and watches the boys. God bless her. So I have a few hours to myself.
That is fantastic. All right. Well, listen, Julie, thank you again, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thanks so much.
All right. Julie Gunlock joins from the Independent Women's Forum.